Alright, welcome. This is 7.5. At the top, make sure you put 7.5. You can also put the chapter's name, which is Proportions and Triangles. Okay, so we got a few key concepts to take. And our first one is the side splitter theorem. Pretty cool name. And it says if a line is parallel to one of the sides of the triangle, it intersects the other two sides and it divides it into those sides proportionally. So if we have a triangle and we draw another line within the triangle, if it is parallel, we now see that QS, and if it tells us that RS and XY are parallel, we now know that like these sides of XR and QR are going to be proportional, and the same thing would be true with the other side. Let's go blue. As far as this YS is going to be proportional with QS. So those sides are proportional. Basically all we're doing is, because of this parallel line, it cuts it into two different types of triangles that are going to be proportional. Alright, my next one, very similar to this one right here, but instead of a triangle, we have the corollary, which is saying it's the same type of thing as far as if we have three parallel lines, then the same thing is going to happen as far as our proportionality. So we see that AB right here is going to be proportional to BC. Those are going to be proportional. And we see that WX and XY are also going to be proportional. So when we have that line that goes through the middle, and if it's parallel, then we know that the different sides are going to be proportional. And then my last one right here is the same thing, same type of thing as far as if we have, this time we have an angle bisector. So if we have a ray and if it is bisected, it's divided into two parts, then we know that the different sides are going to be proportional. So we know that CD right here, this is going to be proportional to DB, and we can also say that this CA right here is going to be proportional to BA. Those sides, those different sides are going to be proportional, and so we can set up a proportion right here. And I know I went through really quick, but make sure that you go back and you should have everything written down as far as the name right there, the theorem, the picture, the then, all this for these three different ones should be written down. I know I went quick, but you can always pause the video and go there. Okay? Alright, let's do a few problems. Alright, so our first problem right here, problem number 1, is we're going to be using our side splitter theorem, and it says, what is the value of x in the diagram at the right? So make sure you write down the question right here and make sure that you draw the picture with different values. So when we are setting this up, we see that we have a triangle, we have that line right there in the middle, and it is parallel, so we know that the different sides are proportional. So we know that this side right here is going to be proportional with this side, and we know that as far as the yellow, these two sides right here are also going to be proportional. Okay, so the way we set it up is there are like a couple different ways. We can set this up two different ways. We can set up, we can go this over that way, as far as we can go as far as x plus 1 over x. So I'm putting this side over that side is equal to, and I go from 12 over 9. I could set it up that way, or I could also set it up as far as if I want to go x plus 1 over 12, x plus 1 over 12 is going to equal, on the bottom right here, the bottom over the top, x over 9 that I have right here. And again, if you see right here, when I'm doing my cross multiplying right here, in both cases I'm going to get 12x. So it doesn't really matter which way that you set it up, whether you go this from left to right or from bottom to top, as long as you're consistent with it. So let's just solve one of these since we're going to get the same thing. Let's do the first one that I have as far as setting up. So I am going to cross multiply on this right here, and that is going to give me 12x is going to equal, and then 9 times x plus 1. So then remember, I am distributing that 9 to everything's size. So it gives me 12x equals 9x plus 9. I'm going to subtract 9x to both sides. That's going to give me 3x is going to equal 9. Divide both sides by 3, and our final answer is x equals 3 right there. I'm going to box that in. And all I wanted to know what the value of x was. So we got it right there. So again, it doesn't matter which way that you set it up, from top to bottom, bottom to top, from left to right, you should be able to get that same answer. So make sure that you have the picture and all that work written down, and we'll go to our next problem. Alright, problem number 2 that we have right here says 3 campsites are shown in the diagram. What is the length of site A along the river? And we see we have these parallel lines, and we know that we can set up a proportion. This looks similar to our corollary that I had. So we were trying to find site A, so we were trying to find this right here. That's the value for x that we're trying to find. And we are looking at it. I can set up a proportion with site A and site B. I have both those. And again, I'm looking, I have yards, yards, yards. They're all in yards, so I don't have to do any conversions, so that makes it pretty easy. So when I set this up, again, it doesn't matter which order you go, from bottom to top, or from top to bottom, or from left to right, but I'm going to go from the top right here to the bottom. So it's going to give me x over 9 is going to equal, again, go from the top to the bottom. That's going to give me 8 over 7.2. That is not a negative right there. That's just a 7. That's just a 7 right there. Okay, so once I have my proportion set up, I can cross multiply, and this is going to give me 7.2x is going to equal 72. And then I would, to get x by itself, divide both sides by 7.2. And again, if I had a calculator, I can just double check what that is. X is going to equal, let's just make sure, I believe it's 10. Let's just double check. It's always good to double check. We have 72 divided by 7.2, and yep, I was right. We're going to get x equals 10. Remember, we are in yards, as we said, we didn't have to do any conversions, so we have 10 yards. Okay, make sure that you have that picture and the question written down, and we got one last problem. Alright, and my last problem I have right here, it says, what is the value of x in the diagram at the right? So again, we see that we have angle bisectors right there. So we know this is my third theorem that we wrote down, that the two triangles, that these triangles' parts are going to be proportional. And again, when you're setting it up, it doesn't matter how you set it up, whether you go from bottom to top, top to bottom, left to right, right to left. It doesn't really matter which way you do it, as long as you are consistent. So the way I'm going to set it up is I'm going to go from bottom to top. So I'm going to go 12 over 10 is going to equal, and again, this is how I have to be consistent. I have to go bottom to top right there, and that is going to give me x over 18. So I'm going to get 10x is going to equal, and then 12 times 18, 12 times 18 is 216. So that's going to give me 216. And again, I'm just dividing both sides by 10 right there. And we're going to get x equals, just move the decimal place over 1, and that's going to give me 21.6. That is my final answer right there. And that's it. We'll do some more practice problems in class. Alright, see you guys.